Hey everyone, welcome back to the Always Closing podcast. Today I have my buddy Patrick from LB Limo joining me on the podcast today. I know this is a little bit different than the normal real estate stuff we have, but you know what? These off industry podcasts that we've done in the past have done really well. So I'm excited to have Patrick in, and I think he has a lot of good insights on business, the industry that he works in. He's one of the top owners in the business, and he has a lot of just general good business advice. So Patrick, thanks for being on the podcast.
Pleasure.
Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having me.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? People that may not know you, tell us your background. Did you grow up here in LA?
Well, I was born in Germany, and my parents moved to LA when I was a year old. So this area is all I've known my whole life. Grew up, family, not the best of means, struggled to get by. My dad was a very, very hard worker when I was young. It was difficult growing up because you never got to see your dad. When you saw your dad, he was always worrying about work.
Right.
It's tough when you don't have money to get by.
Right.
So through a lot of me watching hard work in front of me, I grew up every day seeing what hard work takes out of you, what it puts into you, what you need as a person to succeed.
Right.
I think it's helped me a lot to get to where I am now. Husband, father, to a 2-year-old who I love very, very much, daughter.
Yeah.
Just live every day with excitement, not worrying as much.
Absolutely.
So
what I picked up a lot from you the day that we spent shooting some media together is you're very much a family man. You very much do a lot for your wife, your kid, and I definitely appreciate that. I feel like a lot of people will.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine that's probably the driving force between as hard as you work and everything that you do, right?
Yeah, it's a balance of bringing up my daughter, and if we have another child, hopefully, in a way that they still get the same things that I learned when I was young, but they have their father there. So
Right.
I learned them without my father being there as much.
Yeah.
I want her to learn it while also getting more of me.
Yeah.
So it's a struggle to survive in this city, but I believe there's certain things that can be done to make it that your chances are more, so to
Right.
speak.
So tell us a little bit about what the business is. Tell us how it started. I know you're in business with your dad as well.
Yeah.
Did he start the business? And tell us a little bit about your business in general.
So funny thing about our business, it's LB Limousine. Most people think it means Long Beach. It doesn't. My father wanted to do weddings when he started this business, and he had seen the show Love Boat. Most people know it, very famous. I watched it after he had named it to see why he named it that. But it was a catchy thing for weddings, and we bought stretches, Hummers, Escalades, 20, 25-seaters. And it was a good business, but it was limited to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, mostly Saturdays. So Monday through Thursday, you have no income. And then when it's time to spend time with family, you have to work.
Right.
So Friday mornings, Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings, all of us, my brother, me, my mom and dad, are in the limos cleaning. Lord knows what happened the day before. We have to clean that up. So it was a business that was tailored to 3 days of the week that wasn't enough to sustain us. As I was getting older, I had a choice of either going to school. I wanted to become something in criminology, something as a lawyer, and I was seeing my family struggling at the same time. So
that was actually one of my questions did you always want to be involved in the business growing up, or did you want to do something different?
I wanted to make my parents proud. That was the number one thing that I was striving towards. And I knew being a lawyer or a doctor or whatever, in that type of having a degree is what they valued most.
Right.
But at the same time, when you're going to school, but you know they're not making their payments, you know they're struggling at home, you know they're worried about the next month, it's hard to put that all aside and just focus on a
Not
book.
just you.
Yeah. So I decided midway through college that it wasn't going to work. If I continue this, then I have to watch my family struggle as I continue it. So I decided to come out. They were not happy. They wanted me to stay in. I was very good at that field, and just decided that this limo thing isn't working. Might as well make it more professional. I felt like we had the tools to be professional. Let's shorten the name LB, still remember what we were, but target a new audience. And in new audience, it was corporate, it was travel, it was LAX. We got one of the biggest airports in the world next to us. Might as well cater to that audience rather than an audience that is 3 times a week. You know?
So were you the one behind making that pivot in the business?
Yes. It was a scary time for sure. We bought our first car, standard sedan, and no work. And we're sitting at home. What do? There's no work. I'm like, let's give it some time. Let's advertise. Let's get the word out that we've shifted.
Yeah.
And slowly, people started coming in. People started calling. They enjoyed speaking to someone that knew what they're talking about, knew the area, didn't put them on hold for 15 minutes to give a quote. 10 seconds, you got a quote. I tried to focus on things that made the experience easier, things that I didn't appreciate when I was the customer. So as I did more of that, I realized that as long as I'm looking at what I want and then giving it to the customer, they're 99% of the time they're happy.
Right.
So it was a struggle, but it was one of the best things we've ever done. Now it's 99% airports, corporate travel, you got events, movie premieres, celebrities, and it's 1% weddings. So now on the weekends, we're a little bit more mobile. We could like do something here and there, but at the same time, we're working every day. We don't have to be married to Friday, Saturday, Sunday anymore, which was a very big blessing.
Did you get some pushback from your dad at that time when you wanted to make that pivot, or was he behind you? How did that whole conversation go? And just in general, you know, how is it working with family, or specifically working with your dad? I mean, I've done the same thing with my mom. You just met her right now.
Yeah.
You know, we've worked together 15 years now. So what's your thoughts on it, and how has that whole relationship grown?
So it's a combination of, you have to see both sides. As a father, he knows more than I do, which I understood off the bat, especially in this industry. He had been doing limos for full time for about 10 years by that point. So he knows more about it, and he's going to see me doing mistakes that are easily avoidable. So he's going to try to correct them.
Right.
I have to be humble enough to accept, and also smart enough to push back in some places.
Right.
So it was a give and take type of thing. Sometimes you just accept that this is the way it's going to go, knowing the outcome. And he's done it many times with me, giving in to what I say, but at the same time knowing that the outcome is going to be something he doesn't want.
Right.
So it's a partnership that is hard, but it's, in my opinion, the most rewarding, because when we conversate, we have a common ground. Some families have sports as a common ground. Some people have shows. We have this business. So we could talk about the clients we've had. We can warn each other about what not to do, what to do. So it's built us to be stronger than ever. I'm more behind the scenes, and he's more on the front lines. So he loves driving.
Right.
We have chauffeurs that are on all shifts, but he says if anything comes extra, please give it to me. Like he
wants to do it.
He can't sit still. He has to serve.
Right.
We want to serve. I serve more behind the scenes. He'd rather meet the clients as face to face. I prefer it too, but I've learned that the more I go towards the client face to face, I lose out on the back end, as I'd like to be more hands-on on what happens before they get into the car. I feel like that part is what sets the tone for everything after that. So difficult, but highly rewarding compared to anything else.
That's kind of cool, because it's comparable to how me and my mom are. It's because like you guys said, you have that in common. That's a common interest of you guys. So it's funny because you're probably the same way, but even when you have off time, you just end up having a hour conversation about business. That's how me and her are. Like, we just
Family
recently
dinners.
helped my brother move back down from San Francisco, and we're driving down. I feel like the whole time we're talking about work, and we're like, this is the one day we took off of work to go do this, but you still end up talking about work. And it's not like you don't want to talk about it, but you just have that in common, so it's kind of cool.
But you're both, when we say, because my wife's brought it up at dinners, they get in on the conversation, they give their, and it's our passion.
Right.
So as two men who want to provide, and that's our number one goal in life, is to provide, we find that this isn't work. You're talking about your passion. So some people, as I said, they love the Lakers.
Yeah.
So their passion is talking about what LeBron did last week.
Don't get started on that.
Yeah. our passion is, how did this ride go?
Right.
That is the most interesting thing to both of us.
Right.
We talk about other stuff as well, but that's what brings us together every single time. Every time I see him, it's this client is, I did this. When you're going back, make sure this seat is rested.
Right.
Make sure the water is here. Like, it's different things that sometimes you think to yourself, why do we always talk about work? Then you realize that it's not work. You're talking about what literally means everything to us other than our families,
Exactly.
So I used to think that way, but
I totally get it.
Yeah.
You mentioned that now 99% of your business is CEOs, corporate, business travel. Mm-hmm. Tell us what it's like serving that type of client. Maybe the top 5%, that there is. Is there a different way to reach that type of customer? Do they have different expectations? And how do you do business with that level of customers that you serve?
So you have to break down the experience into little parts. As a whole, it's overwhelming. So you have to figure out what is that executive, first of all, how do they contact you? It's usually not them. It's usually an assistant. That assistant has their name on the line there. So if they book me and I don't show up, that assistant is going to look bad. Same thing with a wedding coordinator. Same thing with, I'm sure in real estate, you have brokers. When you give your name, you tell your boss, hey, this person's going to pick you up, and that person doesn't show up. So that's where it starts, usually.
And this is good because, a lot of people want to break into the Beverly Hills market, the Newport Beach market. So, this is really good information. How do you serve those type of customers?
Yes. It's a lot more hands-on. It's a lot more time-consuming. You have to be willing to put in the work. In the beginning, it might not be as fruitful. It might be just one transfer, and then you don't see them for a year. Mm-hmm. But it's like you're planting seeds everywhere. So assistants call us. They talk to us. We want to first put their minds at ease that, hey, we're going to take care of your executive, whoever it may be. This is what we do. This is how we follow up. You break everything down to them so that it makes sense to them, so that they know from when they get off the phone, when they're going to get their confirmation, they're going to get reminder emails. Is the chauffeur going to text? All of these things are broken down to when the client gets off the phone. I've been told countless times, thank you for making it easy. And that's the way it should be. Because if you make it difficult, they get nervous.
Right.
As they get nervous, they're looking for someone else that's going to make it easy for them. So in any industry, break it down to what's easiest for you. Always put yourself as the consumer first.
Right.
If you do that, you never lose, because you as a person want to be treated a certain way, and most people want to be treated how an executive wants to be treated.
Right.
Usually, the price point of that is too high. We cater to all families, teenagers. I've had proms. So we try to encompass everything where we're not out of budget, so to speak. So pricing is very important. You take into account what you're spending, what you're bringing in. Try to figure that point out, and then stay committed to that. So don't go up and down. Always keep your prices competitive and fair. And then after that, keep those reminders that I said. Those reminders are very important. So sending reminders tells the person, oh, they haven't forgot about me. So, and then if they call you, be ready to answer questions. It might be, to us, it's questions that, really? That's the question you're asking? You get that in your head. Like, how will I know your chauffeur is going to show up? The smart aleck response is, we wouldn't be here if we didn't show up, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you tell them
This may be their first time
Yes.
dealing with this type of situation. You know?
it's a nervous industry. It's an industry that has nerves and anxiety built into it, especially if you're working with
the
airport transfers.
Yeah.
Because you drop them off here, they go to New York. At New York, their driver doesn't show up. That frustration isn't only towards that New York company, it's towards your industry.
Right.
So when you come back, they're already on guard. Or if they're coming for the first time to you, they messed up over there, they come to you, they're on guard again. So it's simplifying, putting yourself as the consumer and then tailoring around that, and then making sure you can deliver. If you can't deliver, there's no point. You've wasted all that time for nothing. You're going to lose the client anyways.
And those type of people, time is money for them, right?
100%.
So booking with you should be easy, right?
100%.
They shouldn't have any issues. Have you ever taken part of your business to make it a little bit easier for them, trying to take it a little bit online, as far as booking times, pickups, all that?
Yep.
Or is it easier for people just to send you a text like, hey, here's where I'm going, this is the time I need to go there, boom, and it's done?
So we have 3 ways they communicate with us. Either they call us, they text us, or they make the reservation online or through the form. So reserving online, the software is a little up and down. So depending on what browser you're using, it might give you some kickback, might give you some issues here and there. But for the most part, I would say 70% just like to book online and don't like to speak to anyone. The 30% that do call you or text you.
So you say the majority of your customers
Yes.
prefer to book online?
Yes.
Okay.
They prefer not to speak to anyone. For example, like an assistant wants to just go online, put in the details, type submit, have the card details in there, and then it's accepted. The 30% that don't want to do that need reassurance. So now you know the people that are left are looking for something else. They're not looking to just book.
Yeah.
They want to hear who's talking to them. They want a person. They want that interaction. If I'm outsourcing to a different country, which most companies do, yes, I'm saving on that end, but now that reassurance is not there anymore.
Right.
The person doesn't know what LA traffic is. The person doesn't know what's happening on the 405. The riots, they saw it on TV, but they don't know what parts are closed. So having someone that's in it, once they hear that, they go, okay, now I'm calm again. And then you convert on those.
Right.
So they come from multiple angles. You just have to be ready on all fronts.
Right.
And keeping them all balanced as far as how you answer them is the hardest part. Sometimes my text messages, they get backed up. Sometimes the office, when I'm out, their text messages, they get backed up. That's usually the one that is the hard. You would think it's easiest, but it's the hardest because you're always paying attention to the call.
Right.
So someone's answering the call, text comes in, they overlook the text. So that's the least.
That just happened to me the other day.
Yeah.
I had a text come in while I was on a job, and I completely forgot to get back to the text. And they messaged me the next day, like, did you see my text? And I was like, I'm so sorry, that I missed that text. But I did see it. I was like, I'm going to respond to when I'm done. And we just went,
Yep, that's exactly. The text messaging is, as I said, it's easiest, but it's the hardest.
Right.
For us as people to get back to you, it's not convenient.
Right.
Because you're gonna.
So would you prefer the online booking for you? Does that make your life easier?
It makes my life easier in a sense that they reserve without speaking to me, which frees up my time. But at the same time, now I don't know who's reserved.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what they're expecting. I don't know if their house has a gate in front of it. All these questions, are you bringing an animal, service animal?
Yeah.
These are things that if I know, makes the experience better. But if I don't know and I show up that day and you have a 100-pound husky with you, it's going to be an issue because as soon as the chauffeur drops you off.
Now we need to go get that cleaned.
Exactly. So I'd much prefer to speak to them, but it's more time consuming at the same time.
Which is good that you brought that point up, because that's going to lead into my next question is, how important is the details on your type of business? How important is cleanliness, safety, those sort of things? If you have a 100-pound husky in your car, how is it important to make sure that no hair is left behind?
So I was struggling with this because I have 2 golden doodles at home, love dogs, had dogs my whole life. I didn't know how to make sure that dogs didn't ruin the experience for the next customer, or even cats. Someone might be allergic afterwards. So how do you cater to the client that you have to cater to. You can't say no.
Right.
But at the same time, how do you protect the next client? Because the next client doesn't care if you have a surface animal. It's not their business.
Right.
They want a clean car. Now, you drop off at LAX, you have a pickup in an hour, and the car is dirty. So what I determined is if the vehicle isn't given back to us in the same state, even if it's a service animal, a detailing fee has to be applied. And
which is fair.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You can't say no, which we don't want to say no. We want to service that clientele. But at the same time, if the dog sheds, that's $100, $150, whatever the detailing fee comes out, that has to be paid because the next client has to get a brand new car, just like you got a brand new car.
Right.
So cleanliness is, as far as vehicles, is the most important, and it's the easiest to do. Being clean yourself is harder than cleaning a car. The car, it takes 5-10 minutes. It's being well groomed, being well dressed, black suit and tie, being in the correct mindset for every trip that you go on. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know what they've been through leading up to meeting you.
Right.
So they were on a 15-hour flight from who knows where. They've landed. In their head, they're going into like fight mode. They just want to get home. Like the person that was checking them in messed up. The bag might be lost. The bags didn't come. They had to wait 30 minutes longer. The connection they missed it. So it's a constant stress. And
you just don't know what's going on with them. I mean, you may be driving them to the biggest meeting of their career.
Yeah, exactly. And I've always told our chauffeurs, always go in with a clean slate.
Yeah.
Be like Jello. Move.
Right.
Move the way the client moves. Are they happy to see you? They're not. Greet them the same way you would greet and then be quiet.
Yeah.
Don't speak anymore.
Right.
You can tell right off the bat who wants to speak to you and who doesn't. And speak when spoken to is very important in this business because there's been countless times when we're beginning training with chauffeurs that they speak when they're not spoken to. Right. And it's usually at the worst timings.
Yeah.
And the client says something back to them like, hey, just leave me alone.
Right.
I want to be in the car quiet. So
they may be focused on texting somebody or setting up something on their own that they just don't have the time to conversate. They may not even that they're in a bad mood.
Yeah.
But they may just be focused on something they're doing.
Exactly. So it's a difficult field if you don't put yourself as the consumer. You have to always navigate that world of how they would feel, which unfortunately most companies that I interact with, not only in the limo service industry, but even going to get a coffee.
Right.
You go to the window, the person starts chatting you up about how's your day because the drink's not ready. So they have to keep chatting with you and you just want your drink. But now they're talking. And then you're like, I'm so sorry. I don't want to be rude or anything, but can I have the drink? I need to go. Yeah. So it's the service industry as a whole has been slowly declining in my eyes. And it's just so easy to do better. And usually the first thing that you look into in companies is what are they paying these workers?
Right.
You have to pay them enough to be proud of where they are.
Right.
If they're not proud of where they are, you're not paying them enough.
Right.
So our chauffeurs need to be proud that they're chauffeurs.
Right.
Not go to a gathering with their friends and go, oh, today you won't believe. We don't have that with us.
Yeah.
Or if we have gatherings as a company, I don't hear bad stories. I hear the good stories. Why? Because we try to take care of the chauffeur. So it starts behind the scenes before you even see the client. If you don't prepare correctly, you're gonna lose at the end. You might win some, you're gonna lose most. Yeah. Guaranteed.
Got you. All right, so let's get into some of the specifics, right? Where you work at. So tell us some tips for other chauffeurs that work in this business and also for clients of yours, some tips about working at LAX, coming to LAX, going out of LAX. What are some tips that people should know?
For chauffeurs, my main suggestion, and it's something that with our company I don't accept otherwise, is put the client first, not second. Always think about the client. So if you're gonna be there 20 minutes earlier, there is no reason you shouldn't be texting the client 15 minutes prior. So when a client is going to the airport or going to a meeting and they have an 8 a.m. pickup, At 7:45, they start getting nervous. I start getting nervous. If I have a car coming to pick me up, I start getting nervous around that 15-minute mark. When you text that client and you let them know, hey, I'm here.
Nerves.
Not only am I here, I'm thinking about you. I'm not thinking about myself. I'm not on the phone with my friend. I'm not planning next week's golf session. I'm thinking about you. That already, you've won 80, 90% of whatever you need to do. You're already in the winning section of this transfer that you're going to do. If you're going to be late, we're all human. LA out of nowhere, 4 or 5 stops. You were going to be 30 minutes early, now you're going to be right on time. Or you're going to be 4 or 5 minutes delayed. If at that point, you text the client 30 minutes ahead of time, hey, I'm so sorry. I'm jammed here on the 405, and I'm going to be there right on time, maybe a couple minutes for you. Everything goes smoothly.
Yeah.
The client goes, oh my God, they texted me, they let me know. But now, take that same scenario, and you're going to be late, and you don't text, which any chauffeur listening to this has done this. So you don't text. At 3:55, when you first hear from that client, their pickup's in 5 minutes, the way you're going to hear from that client is like you just ruined their life. Because you have subconsciously, inadvertently, showed them you don't care.
Yeah.
To them, you don't care. So you've lost now. No matter what you do, how clean your car is, what amenities you have on board, how you look, how well you know the road, anything, everything's done. You've lost. That transfer, probably that account too. So put your clients first by texting them. When landing at the airport, text them as soon as they land. What I mean is the wheels are still moving.
Right.
Text your client. If in 2-3 minutes you haven't heard from your client on your introduction, text them again. Because you're telling the client, hey, I'm trying to build a communication with you.
Right.
So that from your plane to this car, it goes as smoothly as possible. For clients, turn on your phone.
Yeah.
Easiest thing. Turn on your phone, make sure it's not on airplane mode. If you're on a different service, international, switch it over. If you don't know if your phone's going to work ahead of time, sign up to WhatsApp. Let us know that you want to be contacted on WhatsApp. Make it easier to communicate with you. As long as the chauffeur and the client communicate, everything goes perfectly. If there's something missing in between there, everything is bad to begin with.
Right.
Now, who blames who, who's right, who's wrong, it doesn't matter. We're all trying to have the correct experience, so to speak. As far as details, cleanliness, always be cleaning the car. You're not working, but you're on shift, clean the car.
Right.
You drive a little bit, you took a transfer, you think it's a little dusty, get off and dust the car. Check the wheels, check the rims. There's a funny noise you're hearing, figure out what that noise is.
Right.
If a light goes on, what is that light? So always be alert while you're on shift. It's not just from when you put the client in the car to when you drop off the client.
Right.
That portion, client gets in the car, client is dropped off, is the easiest portion.
Yeah.
All of us can drive.
Right.
I could take a 16-year-old with a learner's permit, put them in a suit, put them in the car, they'll get the person to point B.
Right.
They're going to get there. So it's what do you do before, and then how you interact with the client. The driving is the easy part. It just works itself out. Yeah. So client-wise...
Which is why I asked you earlier about the details, right? Because even I noticed, like, when we met last time, you know, like, you were like, hold on, before we film anything, let me wipe down these little spots. Yeah. And honestly, I didn't even see them. You know, but I noticed that you really pay attention to those details.
Yeah. All our vehicles, they get detailed weekly. We clean them every day, so there's not a lot on it. There's never a lot on it. So wiping down... It doesn't
get to the point where it gets dirty.
Yeah, no, never. Yeah. So it's like a 2-3 minute process of take a washless wax, take a clean towel, wipe a little bit, it looks brand new again. Yeah. It's the ones that let it get too dirty where then it starts becoming a problem, because now even a car wash doesn't get you clean. Yeah, yeah. So it's cleanliness is very, very, very important, because that's what you see. Like black car service, you think shiny, you think suit, you think a smile, you think a hat, you would think gloves. So there's different things in a person's head. You have to try to meet those needs somehow, you know? Right. So
a lot of people think, you know, when they think of black car service, most people are thinking transfers to the airport, back and forth, right? Another thing that, well, why don't you tell me some other things? But I know we talked about it last time, that a lot of people hire you guys for sporting events or concerts. Yeah. What's the difference when someone books you for something like that on the service? And what are the benefits of booking your type of service when you're going to a sporting event or a concert or something like that?
So the venues we have here, the main ones that we service is SoFi, Rose Bowl, Dodger Stadium, Hollywood Bowl. So there's concerts / sporting, and we do crypto, Intuit. It's hectic. There's a lot of cars at the same place at the same time. Mm-hmm. So clients 99% of the time want to have us drop them off and then pick them up later. That causes issues for us because we don't know, are we going to have the same chauffeur? Now the next chauffeur is there, doesn't know what you look like. We have an issue. We don't know where to meet at. We have an issue. There's no cell service at the stadium. Another issue.
Yeah.
So a long time ago when we decided we're going to go into this field, we decided that you have to have a parking pass. No question.
Yeah.
Chauffeur is going to take you. They're going to go to the parking spot. You're not getting out before. You're going to wait till we get to the parking spot. You're going to walk to the venue. You're going to have a ping of where we're at. You're going to walk back to the vehicle. We're going to leave together. Now, for some, it seems like, oh, but I'm wasting all those hours of service in between. But it's the only way to do it smoothly. I've realized that you can make a lot more money doing things not the right way. So I could just do one ways to and from, have 20, 30 transfers in a day, be very happy with it to that venue. But it's going to be a mess. This chauffeur doesn't know where the person is. Oh, they
sounds hectic, even just saying that.
It's a nightmare. So chauffeur has to leave the car in a place he's not allowed to run, get the client. Now you're worried about getting ticketed. So I've realized I'd rather the company as a whole makes less and we make it comfortably and safely and smoothly. Then I make a lot more. We make a lot more. Chauffeurs even get paid a lot more, but they're always stressed, because then slowly you start losing the love of what you're doing, right? Because you're always under constant stress of what's going on, which is a problem with our industry, overworked.
Yeah. And I could imagine with you guys, the stress must build about staying on time if you overbook, because you just don't know how traffic is here in LA, So you may be like, I got these 5 appointments today, but if you're not giving yourself enough time, 1 hour of traffic may mess your whole day up.
Yeah. So the way most companies operate is they'll book you for an 11 a.m. to the airport. You'll get there at 11:40. There's a 12 p.m. arrival at LAX. They'll book you as the chauffeur to that pickup.
Yeah.
Now the 11 a.m. is going to come out 15 minutes late. You can't rush that client. It's one of your top clients. Yeah. It's always the top clients.
Right.
So that top client is 15 minutes late. You can't say anything. The 12 p.m. is now 30 minutes early. So now what are you going to do? You're rushing already. So this client is noticing it. They get a sense of it. The other client's going to land and you're not going to be anywhere to be found. They're going to have to call the office. Office is going to have to give them bad news. So I've realized that take lesson. Charge, if you're always worried about just going one after the other, that means your rate is not the correct rate.
Right.
You're charging too low.
Yeah.
So now you have to do so many. But if your rate is accurate to the service you provide, do 4 or 5 per vehicle. Do 6 or 7 per vehicle. I always tell chauffeurs, if you need a break, take a break. If you don't want to work one day, tell me.
Right.
I stay as emergency. In this business, our chauffeurs, they all work. When one of them is out, I step in.
Right.
When another one's out, my father steps in. So we're the backup. We're not there every day. We're not driving clients on every trip. We want them to make their income once they're tired or once they're sick or vacation or whatever. If we're shorthanded,
take time off.
Yeah, take your time off. We'll step in and we'll take the place. But while they're working, you want them to enjoy their work. Like, I have a 12, a 1:30, a 3, a 4:30, a 6. I'm not going to be able to breathe for the next 8 hours.
Right.
So that person, after a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they get burned out. And when you have a burned out chauffeur, that's when all the other issues come up. Car's not clean, client's not happy. Why wasn't he smiling? Why didn't he greet me? You have to keep your chauffeurs happy because they're the face of your company. If they're not happy, your client's not going to be happy. There's nothing you can do about it.
So one thing that I wonder if you worry about it or how much you think about it, what's your take on Uber, Lyft, Waymo, these sort of services that are coming out? Are they something that you worry about, something that you take advantage of? Do they work in your favor? Tell me what's your thoughts on all those services.
So to say what Uber and Lyft means to our industry, we have to first think of how a company should operate as a whole, as a limo service to begin with. So all of these companies years ago were fighting with each other. So one would be 150, one would be 140. They would undercut each other. As Uber came in, it brought all the limousine companies closer together because it's like you're under threat in the beginning. Wars breaking out, they're coming after us, we're going to be no more. We saw what happened to taxis, unfortunately, and it brought us a little closer together. I never saw competition. So that's not to say that I'm better. I'm saying that even in another limo service, I can learn something, or we could benefit from each other. What that means is we're friends with all of them. So if I have an issue and I can't cover that ride, I have 15, 20, 30 companies in the area that I could call. One of them is bound to have a vehicle nearby. And that one time, that one vehicle is nearby and can pick up my client when we've had a flat tire, it's worth everything to me.
Yeah.
Because that rapport you have with other companies is essential to any business. I don't look at the other side and say, oh, no, you're wrong, you're this, you're that, I'm better than you. That doesn't happen, because then I don't grow. And then another person who's learning from me is going to come and pass me.
Right.
We're all in this together, and then it brings in Uber, Waymo, Robo-Taxi, whatever they've been talking about. There's been times client lands 30 minutes early, 40 minutes early, and we won't get there till that scheduled time. It just happens. Client doesn't want to wait. Okay, you don't want to wait? What we're going to do is we're going to call an Uber for you, because that's the only option we have right now. Step outside, look for this license plate, get in. It's an SUV. It's not going to be our service. It's going to be a notch below, whatever it may be. I'll make sure it's a good driver, good rated. You'll be on your way. If we have a flat tire, I'm trying to call, but the client's in a rush. Within 2 minutes, I have him in a different car. Before, your car breaks down, what do? You have to call a taxi. How long is that going to take? You're stuck. So I see it as an extra resource that helps me. And on top of that, it takes away clients that I can't reserve anyways. So if you're looking to go from the club to your house, a 5-minute ride, or you're looking to go to the grocery store 5 minutes, pay $10, I can't supply that anyways.
Yeah.
So if they weren't there and you're contacting me, you're taking away from the clients that need to go to a meeting or need to go to the airport. So now I'm talking to you while I'm losing over here.
Right.
So in my opinion, it set boundaries where Uber, Lyft, everything is here, taxis are here.
Yeah. Clientele.
Exactly.
So do you. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I've always said, because I've had clients throughout the years many times, and I always tell them the same thing. They go, why are you X amount higher than an Uber? Or why are you X amount higher than this other person that I got a quote from? I'm like, there's McDonald's, there's Coffee Bean, there's Starbucks. It's like me walking into Starbucks and saying, why is McDonald's $1.50 for coffee?
Yeah.
But you're $7.50. Every company, based on what they are, value, no one's looking to go bankrupt. No one's looking to price themselves out of the market. We look at our cost, we look at how we take care of our chauffeurs, we look at the vehicles, the condition they're in, we look at the expertise going into it, right? We price based on that. If I see someone in my industry that's pricing the same as me, but they have no dispatch, they have only 2-3 cars, when I speak, I'm speaking to someone that doesn't know the area, it takes them 10-15 minutes to give me a quote. Why am I quoting the same as them?
Right.
Why are we quoting the same as them? We should be higher than them.
Right.
They're obviously working, or else they wouldn't be answering the phone. The business would be closed. So now you know you have to adjust your pricing.
Okay.
But then you go too high, no one's calling. Okay, I messed up. Bring it down. So it's an industry that's so competitive, but at the same time, there's many things that you can do to set yourself apart. And there's many things the client sees before they even see your car that sets yourself apart. So you need to focus on those things. And you have to have the capability to deliver too. So when my dispatch isn't answering the phones, I'm answering the phones. When I'm answering the phones, dispatch is hearing the recordings of my phone calls. Because I know the industry, they listen to the recordings every day so they can learn. When they're on the phones every night, I look at the calls. What did you say to this client? So I'm reviewing every call that's going through. Why did this happen? Why did that happen? Oh, and I always look to myself. What did I do incorrectly to get this dispatcher to say this?
Right.
There's something that I didn't do right. The dispatcher didn't come into work today saying, I'm going to mess up LB Limo.
Right.
They came in not knowing, they guessed, they missed.
Right.
So it's,
Why didn't they know that?
yeah, why didn't they know that? It's because of me.
Right.
You have to look within. As a owner, as the face, you have to take criticism first.
Yeah.
Your
I've
chauffeurs,
always said the same thing. I mean, whether it's good or bad or anything in the middle, ultimately it has to be your fault.
yeah,
You know, and I think when you take that sort of responsibility, you're gonna get better.
yeah. If you don't take it as your fault, your bank account's going to take the hit, your company's going to take the hit, and then you'll be closed.
Right.
You have to learn from every single thing that's going on every day. You have to be a learner in the business.
Right.
No one knows it all. No limo service has met every client. No brokerage has met every person that's looking to buy a house. It's not possible. You're always going to be learning every single day. You just have to be open to it. Not say, I know everything. No, you don't. I don't. No one does. We're all learning. It's just there's levels to how much we know.
Exactly.
I'm looking to get better every day. Every day I wake up, I'm looking to learn something from my own industry.
Right.
What I've studied for 20 years, I'm looking to study more. It's continual, and that's what keeps you going. Or else it will get boring. You're doing the same thing every day. It's going to get boring after a while.
Absolutely. So, well, with that being said, and constantly learning and moving forward, what do you have planned for the future for your business? What do you have for the plan for the rest of this year and beyond?
So we've been looking at targeting different markets. We're feeling like we're getting a grasp of what LA is now, and what we have in LA we're very happy with. We're growing beyond what we could have ever imagined. We had a reset during COVID, bounced right back, which showed to me that we'd left an impression where clients would come back. So now we're looking to branch out to New York, Miami, Chicago, Houston. Not more so of to plant our own company there, but to buy into companies that we have the same beliefs, and then we could work together. Now, instead of me not knowing who's going to pick you up on the other side, I know every angle of your transfer. As far as when you're in a car, I know who you're with.
Yeah.
When that happens, everything becomes more clear. You control everything a lot better.
Right.
And the client experience stays the same. Instead of being so up and down, you get a 2008 car, then you get a 2025 car. It's too much fluctuation.
And honestly, for your clients, that would seem like something very beneficial that you can control from the moment they leave their house to literally when they get to their last destination. You know, that they're going to have that same level of service from home to the airport, and then from the next airport to their hotel or wherever they're going.
Yeah. That's exactly what we're looking to do. I want the client, even if they don't say it, they sometimes do. Even if they don't say it, I want them to think this was the best part of everything.
Right.
If I get that from them, that's all I want. Because that brings, next time they're at a dinner table, they're going to recommend us. Next time someone's flying, it's all referrals. It's all referrals. You need to continually gain from the service you're providing. One client can lead to 100. It could lead to none. It all depends on you, and it all depends on a little bit of luck too on the side.
Absolutely.
You know?
Well, Patrick, appreciate you coming in. I feel like you gave us a lot of good tidbits that people can really benefit from, learn from people that are in your industry as well. And just in general, I think a lot of things that you said, and that's why I wanted to have you in, I feel like can apply to any industry.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate you taking the time today. Tell us where people can follow you, where they can learn more about your business, and if anybody wants to benefit from your services, where they could find you at.
Our website is lblimoinc.com. Our phone number is 310-494-1080. Instagram is at LB_Limousine. We're looking to expand as much as we can while also keeping the service level what we expect for ourselves. So, give us a call whenever. We'd be happy to assist.
And there you guys have it. So this is the man to talk to if you need a transfer to the airport, to an event, if you want to set up any professional level rides for any of your clients. You know, I don't know how much you work with the real estate industry, but hey, they may be able to use your services as well. So this is the man you got to talk to. So again, thanks again, Patrick, and hopefully we'll do it again soon.
Yeah, definitely. Can't wait.
Thanks for coming in.
Pleasure. Thank you.